we just keep doing lousy things, I guess. That's what it is. All this lousy stuff just seems to finally catch up with us, right? I don't know, it's hard not to feel that sometimes, this sense of regret. I mean, maybe not that, maybe not like real regret, like we were these Nazi war guards or whatever, you know, hiding out in Nova Scotia and hoping that nobody would figure out it was us when they watched one of those films on the History Channel. But you see what I'm saying, don't you? Of course, I'm sure you feel it too. It's just the way it is these days. The whole world is living with this now, this kind of whatever it is. The sickness. Yeah, like a sick sort of feeling in your gut that says, hi, hello there, what's going on? I got a real ache in here that tells me that we're up to no good. I mean, that's just me being kind of dramatic about it, but it's like that. This still, small voice of some kind. I took drama back in school. Did I ever mention that? Oh yes, I was quite the little actress. I had the lead in several productions, and I even sang a little bit. Not much of a dancer. I always thought that was a difficult art, dancing. Don't you? But I was known to carry a tune, and I could shed a tear on cue. Almost literally on cue. That's what they call it in acting. Your cue, when it's your turn to do something, and I was able, whether by gift or just practice, I could laugh or cry with the best of them. Best of Teddy Roosevelt Junior High anyway. So that's why I was doing that, acting out that bit just now. Not that I think what we've done is so awful. I mean, on paper. Down on paper, you see that people do this type of thing all the time. Do it and go on quite happily with their lives. Absolutely true. It is we, right? You felt the same way about things. I know you did. We talked it through, and I think this is a very sensible decision on our part. I mean, almost a sacrifice, really, when you think about it. Because for the first few months, it seemed like we were all really happy. It felt that way to me anyhow, like we were a family. And we were gonna be that way for the rest of our days. Like any channel you'd see on the TV, like on those half-hour comedy shows they have out now. But you just never know, do you? You just never know what is going on inside the heart of a person. You just can't really be sure. I mean, you look at them, study them when they're sitting at the counter or the breakfast nook before they head out to school in the morning, but you can't really tell. That first time he smiled at us on the visit to the agency. Do you remember that? I know he was sick and his nose was all runny and everything, but it was just like the baby Jesus beaming up at you. That's what it felt like to me anyhow. Like I was looking down into the manger or something, you know. Just brought him a carton of that stuff they were carrying, the wise men. And there he was, just looking up at me with those big blue eyes and letting me know that this was the start of a glorious time. I know he was older than that, you know, a baby, but I'm saying that's what it felt like. That was the feeling I got. And anyway, you know, there's not that many pictures around of the teenage Jesus, so that's all I have to go on, the baby. Well, okay, plus the older ones, of course. The mature Christ. But he wasn't he? He was something almost nearly like that. Like the child himself. He was beautiful. Yes. I know it's hard. I know it's completely hard, and I can already feel the void that is there for me, for us, plus the money. I am absolutely aware of that part of it as well, but I don't think I could have taken another call from his counselor or the police. I really don't think I could. I mean, when people start to look at you in the store, and I don't care if it's just Target or not, then it's time to do something. To step up and do what it takes to feel right and safe and like a good citizen. Don't you think? Well, I do. I mean, plus this car is not made for racing. Isn't that what you said? I heard you screaming that at him last time, and I agree. This is not some high performance vehicle that you could just run up and down the access road like it was one of those deals they've got in Germany. What's it called with the open come on, you know, the open speed limit. An Autobahn. That's it. Autobahn. I don't know what that means exactly, what that would translate to be in normal English, but we're not living near one of those. Nor is he old enough to be out doing that. Taking the car out of the garage. I mean, why don't we just call it what it is? It's stealing. Plain and simple. And I don't care if he saw it in a movie or if his friends put him up to it, which I do not doubt. That older Freeman boy is just an absolute terror. But he can't do that. And we gave him nothing but chances. And he just couldn't stop. Couldn't stop going in my purse or calling us names or any of it for that matter. Not in the end. Could he? No. It was too much. Too much. And that is not what we signed up for as foster parents. I mean, I'm no policewoman. I'm not Angie Dickinson with a cute little haircut and a gun in my bag. I'm a working adult, and I don't have time to do that. Be someone's mom. I don't mean that. I was his mom. I am. But he just, you know what it is? He's a pusher. He pushed us and the limits and anything else he could butt up against. I mean, I don't know what his birth parents are like. I have an idea, thank you very much, but he was just someone who would keep on pushing until there was just no room left in the room. And I know it sounds wrong using room like that twice in a sentence, but that's what it was like. He left you no space, no room in which to maneuver. And the gun. I mean, my God, taking a handgun to school? I don't care if it is just to show it off to your classmates. That is the end, the complete end. And that is that. Even the agency people told us that. I mean, I don't know if you heard her, but that redheaded one in the back office, she said we did the right thing. She said, if you will permit the performance again, you two have done the right thing here. Absolutely the right thing. Looked me dead in the eye as she was issuing our final check and said that. So I felt much better when I heard it. I mean, I felt it. I could feel it in my heart. But it's nice to have it validated, you know, your instincts. Plus, we can always bring someone else into our home. That's what they told me. We're a level 3 on the clearance chart, so we're all set up to do it again if that's what we want. Maybe a girl this time? Wouldn't that be nice? And younger, maybe? That way, if she was a little younger, we could make a greater impression on her right up front, and we wouldn't find ourselves in a spot like this. She also said, the redhead did, that this type of thing is completely typical. The allegations he's making, it's a common trick that kids of his type do when they have to be brought back or placed in some other surroundings. It's quite usual for them to say they've been abused in some way, sexually or what have you. I think it is sick, and I'm so sorry that you've got to go through this, honey, but she assured me that it happens all the time, and that 9 times out of 10, well, she said 8, actually 8 times out of 10, but that's a very high number too. It'll all blow over. Just charges dropped, or the kid will say it didn't happen, or that kind of deal. So no worries. And you know that I believe you, right? You have my complete and utter support. I mean, why would you ever lay a finger on that boy? Some young boy who we've taken in as our child, our son. I know that people do that. I'm not some naive housewife who just cooks pot roasts and watches soaps all day. That is not me. I watch the news and I read the paper, and I know that it happens. Of course it happens, but please, how could he do that? Tell the officer that things of that nature had transpired. It just frightens me. It really does, that he could have been living under our roof and eating off our dinnerware and been harboring a soul like that one. Well, it doesn't matter. It'll go away, and we'll be right back where we were. All fine and good. Fine and good, because we are that ourselves. Fine and good people who enjoy a place in the community. We reached out to someone, a young someone who needed us, and I have no shame in that. I feel nothing but pride, and I want to do it again. Do you? Sweetheart? I mean, don't you sense that we should do it again and let everybody know that this boy was just a blip on the radar? Some sort of a kind of a bad apple in the barrel, and we are not the problem. I do. That is exactly how this incident makes me feel, and I have always been one to just jump back on the horse and ride. You know I am. I even played Joan of Arc once. Yes, I did. In a school play back in my class, like I was telling you about. It's true. I had this big paper mache horse on my shoulders on straps, and I had this cardboard armor on, and I even had my mother cut all my hair shorter. That's how excited I was. And we told the story of that young French girl who becomes a hero and a martyr for her people. I have a photo of it someplace. A snapshot my uncle took me. He was always taking pictures of me. My mother's brother. Anyhow, that's what we've got to do. We've got to get back on the horse and ride. That's the spirit. I know you were fond of him. I know. Tried to make a life for that boy and give him things and show him how it all worked, being a man, and I in no way blame you for that gun thing either. I think it was your fault for having a pistol in the house. I mean, we've already talked about that, and I agree. I think it's a very good thing, and it might just protect us one day. So no, I think we were both selfless, caring, and perfectly in the right to do what we did. I mean, some time back in a boy's home is exactly what he needs right now. I mean, is crying out for, really. He was screaming it out, and we couldn't even hear the signs. That's how much we loved him. Loved having him with us. Maybe if he wasn't screaming it out at 80 miles an hour in our cabriolet, we might have heard him a little better, right? I think so. It's funny that I read in a magazine somewhere, one of the many magazines I have. I know, too many. It had this breakdown of our lives. One of those pie-shaped thingies that takes time and it divides it up into sections. And it said that we, as a people, spend about 1/8 of our lives in cars. Yep. In automobiles. Isn't that remarkable? Our cars or the cars of others. Loved ones, mostly. Maybe that's what he was doing. Do you think? riding around town like a madman because he loved us so much. Maybe so. And at least none of this has touched us, right? I mean, the core of that thing, which is us, what we have, that's what I'm most thankful for. That you and I, our union is not sullied by the experience. Am I using that word correctly? Sullied? I believe so. That we remain untouched by this nonsense. I mean, without sin, really, and that in itself is a blessing. I do still have some sense of having done a bad thing. That lousiness I spoke of. I'm not sure why. The emotion I mentioned before, but I'm sure it'll pass. I'm sure it just comes with the territory. That woman, the one with the red hair, she said that as well. This sort of thing comes with the territory. So that's a comfort. But the fact that it has in no way chipped away at our, and I'm aware that you think I overdo the word love. I know that, but I'm just very glad that it hasn't. I know. I love you too. I do. Like Shakespeare said, I love thee. Him or someone like him said that anyway. I do love thee. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm sure he'll be fine. At least for tonight. He's been there before, God help him. He certainly knows the routine of that place. And tomorrow, we'll call our lawyer, get in touch with old Mr. Thompson, and put an end to this nonsense in a heartbeat. One single heartbeat and a 40-cent call. Indeed, we will. Maybe those Germans have it right after all. I'm not about, I don't mean in all ways. No, of course not. I certainly don't agree with their, politics, but that car thing, that Autobahn they've got there, maybe it's not such a bad idea. I mean, perhaps that's how it should be. All of us speeding by one another, too quick to stop, too fast to care, just racing along, off on our little journeys, and no sense of how dangerous or careless we're being, because we'd be safe, wouldn't we? Of course we would. Safe in our little bubbles of glass and steel. Well, I suppose it's mostly plastic now, but you know what I mean. We'd be sheltered there in these cars, all protected and careening about. Maybe then we wouldn't hurt so much or feel so deeply when we've been hurt or lost or betrayed. Yep, that might be just the thing, the very thing we need. And to think was right there in Germany all these years, and we never even saw it before this. No, we didn't. Not even once.